hello. Well, hello, Mr. Jesse Dollemore. Welcome, sir. It's 1:35 on the West Coast time, PM. It is October 7th, 2023, the Weaver John C. of Roseman, California. In response to your lovely article, Unhinged Fox News host calls for civil war because elections don't work. Oh, you picked a hot one, didn't you? Greg Gutfield. I look at these guys and I don't pay attention to these assholes. I don't give them the atmosphere. I don't give them the time. Only because I know they're spewing crap. But sometimes in the opposition, we still have to look at the stuff what they're talking about to see whether or not they actually have any legitimacy or not in the situation. Sorry, allergies are kicking in again. Now I understand the prodding at this point over here that people try to do at Fox News. They can't help themselves. They want their damn paychecks that badly. They're going to bullshit. And therefore, probably lose all our character if they actually had any. Greg wants to go on an unhinged rant. We got to do this, don't you understand? Well, what are we understanding about? Well, don't you understand? Not in your damn viewpoint. Tell it to me. I just did. No, you didn't. I heard the ranting and raving what he did. You're going to hear the background of that as soon as I get it queued up here. So we can listen to old Greg in his mouth again. Shall we? You're just going to hear the audio clipping because I'm taking it directly from your vid, dude. So here we go.
But only certain people get criminal mulligans. And January 6 protesters, they don't get criminal mulligans. And here's why. They're the oppressor, right? So the oppressed get criminal mulligans. The people that are complaining like us, we're actually oppressors. And we're losing power. So that's why we're upset. I just got a job at MSNBC. So let's compare the rights between criminals and victims. Okay? Criminals, they get a mulligan. They get to steal up to $900 worth of stuff. They can loiter, sleep, and shoot up in public areas, including playgrounds. They can loot and burn and call it social justice. They can pile up dozens of arrests and never do time. Meanwhile, what about us? Well, we have to change our lives to accommodate risk wherever we go. We have to move out of cities for the sake of the safety of our families and our own safety. That's what's happening. We're being driven out of cities by the oppressed. So I return to my imperfect analogy from yesterday. We had a war over slavery. We knew slavery was inhumane and immoral, but somehow we couldn't solve slavery peacefully. It was an evil, but one side refused to acknowledge that it was evil because it was too big of an admission for them to make. Doesn't that feel that way now? That this defiant refusal to reverse this decline argues against the survival of a country.
Okay, let's put a pause on that one, shall we? I'm surprised you didn't put a pause and try to tear this thing apart like I've seen the other progressive media do. Okay, one side. Let's be specific. Union versus the Confederacy. Now, slavery, yeah, it was considered bad during those days. We had a few states that were still on the edge, so to speak, on the fence whether or not they actually wanted to be considered a slave state or not. California was one of the states. And Texas, if I'm not mistaken. But Texas didn't really get into the damn Civil Wars. Only the other southern states that got into the Civil War with the northern. And that's crazy enough right there. So, in the Civil War, if I'm not mistaken, concerning about my history class, I'm trying to go over the notes in my head on this one here. There is also industrial considerations because the Republicans at that time were the progressives. The Dixiecrats, or the Democrats, were the conservative. They wanted things the way they were. Slavery was fine. Don't mess around with the states. And we won't mess around with anybody else. However, we still have people in the North kept saying, no, we want the blacks to be liberated because this is not fair. This is not right. Over a century of this thing and we're still continuing it? No, we don't want it. And yeah, the people that got used to it thing really had to burp their ass on this one. They didn't want to hear the northern people telling them what to do. Look at your different viewpoints on this one here. But it was still a mess during that time. But he doesn't want to explain it because he's too damn lazy for it. We continue.
What does that leave you with? It leaves you with you need to make war to bring peace. Because you have a side that cannot change. Because then that means an admission that their beliefs have been corrupt all the time. So in a way, you have to force them to surrender.
We didn't have to have the war. We didn't want the war in the first place. Regarding the Northerners didn't want the war. And it was reported and recorded we didn't want the war. But the Dixiecrats just weren't going to budge on the damn thing. And they decided to split out from the Union and form their own government. And that's basically what started our war. The difference is right there. Are we going to be doing a civil war here? Is it going to be coming down for us to kill each other left and right? Is that what we considered acceptable? You're a Marine. You know better, Jess. Duty, honor, country. Constitution, you swore like crazy. That you support like crazy. And yeah, these guys just mouth off. That's what they are, mouths. Shall we continue with the analogy here?
I tried that once. Oh, we have an election. I had to go to a doctor. Elections don't work. We know that. We know they don't work. Look what we have. Look what we have. We had a modern president, and we have crime exploding everywhere. We had a Democrat president promise that he was going to be modern, promise that he was going to unite the country, and now we have a terrible education system. We have no.
That's all in effect. We're blaming Biden for our terrible education system. We had a Secretary of Education theoretically in Trump's an old gasbag 45 administration. They weren't helpful. That lady didn't know her ass from a hot rock. But the education system sucks. If I'm looking at the different states going on right now with their education system, am I blaming Biden for this one? Or am I blaming the government? Actually, the governors of the states that are having the issues with it. It's not Biden controlling the damn thing. It's the states controlling and regulating their own damn education systems. Whether or not they want to go back to the dark ages or not. But, he's going to mouth off. This is Gutfield doing his bullshit again. So, shall we continue?
We have crime everywhere. Every facet of society is in peril and in chaos because.
Every facet of us. Now, let's see. How many riots have we had since Biden took over? How many burnings of places or churches? Yes, we did have the shootings. We still have the occasional rogue assholes out there who consider the Democrats are evil, and therefore they'll do it. But do we have an organized group doing this? January 6th. January 6th under Trump. And he was going out. He was already elected out. They were just going to certify the elections on January 6th. Certification. Final certification to make it legal that Biden was going to be the president. And what do we have? Old gasbag starting up the crap. And he goes back and hightails it to the White House and watches the whole thing on screen. But, you're right. This guy doesn't know his ass from a hot rock. So, shall we let him continue to rant and rave?
Elections don't matter. No, elections do matter. We don't need to.
He's saying that the elections don't matter. Gutfield telling people that elections don't matter because we can't get the right people in. Which means to tell me that he doesn't believe in democracy anymore. Doesn't care about it. He's just going to say it because he's there for the money. And you're probably standing it the other way because I didn't watch the entire video. Sorry. But I had to jump in there regarding my mouth on this one situation over here. So I'm just going to leave it as is. But he is a pain in the ass. And he's there to be the royal pain in the ass. He has to be because that's what his job is. I got another one for you. You ever listen to David Pakman? Come on, tell me. David Pakman had been trying to make it balanced enough, but sometimes he has to go lib on this one. He was also noticing it, and I didn't hear up on the other progressive media people yet, or on regular media, because I'd love to hear this one here, that at a function, Texas Governor Greg Abbott wants to put, hold your horses, a wall up. Ah! Well, we're trying to get a wall going in Texas. Yeah, but where's it going? Between Texas and Nevada! No, not Nevada. New Mexico! Forgot my geography. New Mexico! New Mexico! Shoom! Texas on the right. New Mexico on the left. And there shall be a glorious wall! New Mexico will not spread their filth into Texan, and Texas will keep their people inside. Excuse me 1 second. I just gave myself a concussion with a paper towel roll. Trying to beat some sense in my head at this point over here. Trying to fathom logic in this one here, Val. Jess, please tell me there's logic in this one. Not of hitting my head with a damn paper towel, but understanding that putting a wall up between states and the United States. Come on, there's got to be some kind of weird ass logic in this, right? There has to be something that makes sense on this one, right? Right? Surely it's not against federal rules and regulations and against the U.S. Constitution for this, Jesse. Please tell me that we're not looking at federal charges, that we're not looking against a court case that could be brought against to the Supreme Court and hope to God that they may have some sense. Unless they're going to be making precedent of saying every state shall have a border wall. Are we saying that? Oh my God, Jesse, what the hell have we got ourselves into? Today, there had been an attack between Hamas and Israeli forces again. More organized, prisoners captured, cities invaded, or towns anyway. And they're tearing themselves apart while the Middle East are placing bets and not to mention aiding Hamas at this point. But we're dealing with this, aren't we? I saw this morning and made me sick to my stomach. You know what I hear the weird thing about it is? I got an essay that's due end of this week. I got to turn it into my English professor about morality. I picked nervous and mental. Explain to me internal politics and internal civil war is not considered issues about mental health in one form or fashion. Repressed and generational anger and politics screwing things up left and right, but leaving a lifelong hatred, resentment, frustration, depression on both sides. Greg Abbott, in his speech regarding the border wall that he's musing about, because he wants the people who are trying to get abortions to stay in the border of Texas. Texas has already outlawed abortion. You cannot have abortion outside Texas. There have been a few states, in the red states actually, who are trying to sue other states because of abortion situations happening with the state's own residents. I know what you keep saying about we're supposed to be the land of law and order, and the Republicans are supposed to be loving law and order only if they have the law and they have the order on their side, and they don't give a shit about anybody else but themselves. And you've already made that point too much, and so did the other side as well. Quite frankly, I think we're all in need of Thorazine and straitjackets, every one of us. Every damn single one of us in the States. Old medication, but it's still the only name I know, except for Xanax. I don't know about the other medications. A civil war. Jess? A civil war. You know how freaking lunatic it sounds? How insane? And I'm wondering if I'm losing my sanity. I never had my sanity in the first place. And if I did, I don't know what sane is anymore. I've seen the levels where people are going into and trying to think that there are normal and things are normalized, and I don't know what the hell we're doing anymore, Jess. Honest to God, I don't know anymore. I don't know. I can't deal.